giving the public address about what had happened. And I know that we were in the heart of the baseball playoffs, and there was some debate about the New York Yankees and if they were going to play again, because we had bodies in the stadium.
It's terrible.
It is.
It was heartbreaking. My brother had to walk across the 54th Street Bridge. The trains weren't working. And try to get home. So it was a long journey for him to get back home out to Long Island.
And your brother, if I remember correctly, was in finance or insurance. He was in some sort of.
Yes, an accountant. Yes.
He was an accountant. Mm-hmm. Okay. Did he
is.
have any friends, family, loved ones, coworkers that were
No.
that lost their lives in that terrible day?
No, thank God.
For those in security roles, 9/11 wasn't just a tragedy; it redefined duty. How did it change the way you viewed responsibility?
I think at that time, it was a very interesting time, because it, in a very tragic, sad way, reminded everybody about patriotism and this country. A lot of people would say, or you'd see memes on social saying things like, I wish I could go back to 9/12, the day after, where the country just came together, and was one, and all these people were joining the military and rejoining, or serving. And for me, it was kind of like business as usual. It's like, hey, I've been doing this. I've been serving my country. Now tell me where I need to go next, because I'll be there and I'll do it. So for me, it wasn't like a defining, hey, I'm going to serve, because I already was. It just was more of, hey, what do you need me to do now? Because, I'll do it. And that's kind of what I felt. And there was no hesitation whatsoever, of me going to get my mob bag and heading back down to, and we couldn't fly. And so I had to drive down to Oklahoma City. And it was scary that day, because it was just desolate. There was like no cars on the road, and you saw a plane, you got scared, but it was a military aircraft. And so it was a really interesting time.
My background, I was a C-17 pilot. I was not a C-17 pilot yet during this time, but when I was in pilot training, my commander was a C-17 pilot during that time, and he was actually airborne when it happened. And all the air traffic controllers were reaching out saying, land now. And he kept thinking, what did I do wrong? Why are you telling me to land? And it was, no, we are clearing the airspace. And so he was down south actually supporting the president, who was literally reading the book to the children down south. So not even knowing what was happening, but being ordered to land immediately. Another thing that comes into mind about 9/11 is my younger brother was going to in college in Boston. And so my stepmother was visiting him, and she was scheduled to fly out of Boston on September 12th. And so, obviously the airport shut down for days.
Right.
And I always think to myself, granted it's my stepmother, not my biological mother, but still could have potentially had a loved one on that flight that was brought down. So there's so many pieces to that butterfly effect that we have interactions with that fateful day. A lot of us in the military, we talk about remembering 9/11. Do you think it's more about the grief or about the responsibility?
I think it's about both, especially being from New York. It's about, your responsibility to your country, responsibility to your family, responsibility to God, and about the grief. We'll be grieving that. That'll never go away, the grief from that day. We'll be grieving that for generations to come.
I wanted to transition to education.